off or leave early that day. It was a long weekend, and I was driving out of the parking lot, and I passed this guy with the yellow van. He was driving in, and it was all caged in inside. Anyways.
So what happened?
Well, I was telling you about it here. Anyways, I was already preparing a lawsuit. So I finished the lawsuit. I took a week's vacation, right? So Tuesday was the first normal business day. It was Memorial Day weekend, 2005. Tuesday was the first normal business day. I filed my lawsuit. I got the case number. I went and served a notice and demand on the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court of Arizona, and I said that there's basically in this notice and demand that there's a criminal racketeering enterprise operating in the town of Florence, that they had sent their hired thugs looking for me under a warrant for arrest of their strawman vessel, and I demanded that she quash the warrant for the arrest of their strawman vessel because, quote, we all know that the corporate commercial agents, the police in brackets, are too stupid to tell the difference between a sovereign strawman vessel and a sovereign living soul, unquote. And then I said, furthermore, I filed this lawsuit, and here's the case number, and if you fail to quash the warrant for the arrest of your strawman vessel, it'll be further proof of your dereliction of duty to regulate your subordinates. Oh, and you're named in the lawsuit too. I told her she's named in the lawsuit. And so anyways, she quashed the warrant. And the reason I know is because the Attorney General responded for the Chief Judge in the lawsuit, and the Attorney General said it's perfectly appropriate that I petition the Chief Judge to get the warrant quashed. So again, this stuff was scaring the heck out of me, quite frankly. I was grabbing at straws. But you don't know who you are. You know, you got to go in there, you got to present the right arguments, and you tell them this is the way it is. It's a demand. Sovereigns demand, okay? And Rice McLeod told me about this one time, and it really clicked home with me because when I used to be in the Canadian Armed Forces, and I remember getting this form that had demand written across the top. And it just never dawned on me about I had to go do something, so I went and did it. But the point is that it was a demand, and sovereigns demand it. Even here, they know you're sovereign. They know you're sovereign. They know you're the king. The Attorney General, yeah, got that. On May 11th, 2009, I received a photo radar ticket from the Arizona Department of Public Safety. My son was driving my truck at the time. I rejected their offer of contract and sent notice and demands to the court, the judge, and the mayor. The case disappeared. On 22nd of February 2010, the Arizona Department of Public Safety sent their straw man another photo radar ticket. I sent a notice and demands to the DPS officer, the Director of Public Safety, the Attorney General, and the judge. And then, I didn't even wait. I get a little bit belligerent sometimes, you know. Anyways, I immediately prepared a criminal complaint, and I filed against all of them for perjury of oath, treason, sedition, etc. Now, you understand what sedition is? Sedition is when you're making war against, to overthrow the government, okay?
Or the monarch.
Huh?
Or the monarch.
Whatever. But the point is that my government is defined by the Magna Carta, okay? So when the cop comes to you with his guns and his military uniforms under martial law, then he's shoving his martial law down your throat. That's sedition. That's exactly what sedition is, and that's exactly what treason is, okay? Treason is a breach of trust, and that's sedition. He's making war against my government as defined by the Magna Carta. Because the Magna Carta says he cannot go upon me or cause injury upon me except by a jury of my peers or the law of the land, which is the common law. So that's what sedition is. And so I go after him. I always bring up sedition and treason. Anyways, in Arizona, they canceled the photo radar program. They say it was because some Supreme Court ruling, I don't know, might have been. But I like to think I might have played a little bit of it. Anyways, they sent notice that they're canceling the straw man's driver's license. They sent me I wonder if I got it in here. Here's the thing on that. I got this off the internet, eh? Arizona shut down freeway speed cameras, eh? Oh, here's the notice that I got from the Arizona Department of Transportation from the Office of Inspector General. And it basically says they want me to come in there and prove that I'm a U.S. citizen. Well, why would I want to do that? Or they're going to cancel the straw man's driver's license. Go ahead. Excuse me. Cancel the thing. I don't care. I never bring it out unless I'm going to rent a car. And it's good until I turn 65 anyways. So they can go ahead and cancel it. I'll still have it, and I'll use it to rent a car. So what? You know, that means it's good for another 15 years, eh? In Arizona, my son just got a driver's license, and his is good till he turns 65, and he's like 19 years old. So
here in Alberta, we have to renew every 5 years.
yeah, most places you do. In Arizona, see, they passed this act in the states called the Real ID Act, and most of the states bought into that, but Arizona said no. And that the Real ID Act that they passed in the states requires that they make these IDs renewable every 5 years. But Arizona, it's never been that way, and they just leave it that way, and you know. So anyway, so that's a good thing about Arizona. Anytime you get a letter from the government or any corporation, it's an offer of contract. You think about it this way: if you get a letter from the city saying that your grass is too long according to our rules and regulations, and you need to cut it, well, that's an offer of contract. So you just reject their offer of contract and send it back to them. That's all.
Just like that?
Yeah. You have to do it within 3 days.
72 hours.
Yeah.
You don't have to attach any supporting
No.
notice or demands or anything like that?
No, this is what I put on it. Okay, this is adopted for Canada, but it says and this will be done at red ink and at 45 degrees across the letter, right? And it's notice for the record, received, you put the date you received it, and it's gotta be, and then the date sent is gonna be down on the bottom, and or the date you sign it, and it's gotta be within 3 days, and you send it back by registered mail. It says, I by affidavit am a declared living Canadian sovereign, standing with treaty law of God, to accept your offer of value, and for the following reasons I'm returning your offer rejected for discharge and closure. You have brought Canada corporate law with color outside your jurisdiction without international treaty with my republic state, as you have no jurisdiction on the land of Alberta. You have falsely accused me of being a citizen of Canada. You're trespassing and criminally attempting to convert corporate statutes with color into lawful criminal codes without chartered regulatory and delegated jurisdictional authority. And you're not registered or chartered for conducting business in Alberta by my republic state. You failed to state a lawful claim upon which relief can be granted, all of which is submitted under oath, and then the date submitted, and then sovereign living soul and all that stuff. Anyways, that's the way, basically I do it the same way in the States, although you make a few, there's a few changes and the problem goes away, yes?
I've done that with a letter from collection agency, just put right across my address, put a sticker on there, no contract, return to sender. Never heard from them again.
I did it, I did something similar. Did you open the letter?
Yeah, I opened it up and I put it back in there, sealed it back up.
With the IRS, they tried to, after I sued them and took it to the Supreme Court, they sent me a letter, and I just put on the outside of the letter, no such person at this address, and return to sender. And I put it back in the mail, and I haven't heard a peep out of it since. Yes?
Okay, so the straw man receives a letter,
Yes.
and you respond as the sovereign.
Yes.
But why wouldn't you not respond as a straw man? Because the letter was addressed to the straw man. See, that's where I'm getting a little confused
Right.
with this.
Right. Well, again, see, first of all, you gotta understand that your rights are unalienable, okay? Which means that it's treason, it's perjury of oath, even, you know, even for ABC company down here that sends a letter to a straw man, okay? They don't have an oath of office, but they do have a corporate charter, okay? And their corporate charter requires that they don't engage in treason, okay? And so when you reject their offer of contract, okay? But most of these letters that you're gonna get these offers of contract from are gonna be from a city, okay? Or a county, huh?
Or the CRA.
Whatever, okay. And so then what you do is you essentially tell them that they're perjuring their oath of office, okay? And I don't believe, see, Canada, CRA, if it's like the States, CRA has nothing to do with the government, they're a collection agency.
Right.
That's what they
Yeah, that's
And
good.
so, in the States, the IRS is the agency of the International Monetary Fund. And they have nothing to do with the government. And So I don't even open their letters, quite frankly. I don't even open them up.
Just return to sender?
I just put on the outside, no such person at this address, and send it back to them. But,
No such
person.
okay.
Right.
Just no such straw man at this.
Right, and what I do is, I'm not in a position where they're taking withholdings out of my pay either. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I work strictly contracts, and I have, the company I work for is a trust, and I have a compensation agreement with them to get paid in silver coin, okay? So that's not a taxable event. You see what I'm saying? The tax is for using their private money system. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I come at them like they're perjuring their oath of office, basically. And this kind of stuff you use against the city, you know, or some government official that thinks that they're gonna impose their code rules and regulations on them.
Thank you.
Usually what happens is I just send it back to them. If I get an offer of contract, I send them an invoice. If I get an offer